especially with all the social media. But children today have such a shattered self-image. And so once they start getting bullied on Facebook, texting, or things like that, their life is gone. It's a complete despair. And that's because, forgotten faith, they don't know that they're a child of God, made in the image and likeness of God, that God loves them, that's the foundation of the meaning of their life, because it's all about materialism, and then their perplexed priorities, and it's all this tempest that feeds upon itself. And so when the kids just get depressed, kids are so depressed nowadays. And there's lots of other issues that we have to keep moving. Okay, now, before we get into missing something, we what do we need to achieve to properly form our children? Now, for those of you who saw the talk before, you can't get this answer today. Those of you who have not heard this talk, you got an answer. To form our children, what is the objective? What are we going after to form our children? Let's not talk about the missing something. Let's first talk about the foundational aspect of forming kids. What do we need to achieve? You tell me. Perfection? Okay, well, we're shooting towards there, but how are you going to achieve that? What's that? So then the faith, okay, yes, we want that to be in their hearts, but what is the vehicle that enables us to get them to live? Okay, yes, your witness, your example is very, very important to form something else in them. Positive example, yes, the example and witness is very important, but that forms something else. Communication, yes, we want to be fostering communication between us and the kids, but there's something even deeper. All right, we want to do a personal relationship with Jesus, absolutely, but how do we get them to have that? Yes, prayer is but even under prayer, there's a deeper foundation. Okay, they need to know the truth. That's right, the truth of salvation and the meaning of life and all of that, yes. But then to get all of this that we're saying into their hearts, for them to really assimilate what is that foundation. But it's kind of a human base, it's not necessarily a supernatural base. Yes, and to bring them closer to God, we want to achieve that, but there's still an underlying vehicle. Faith is even underneath faith. Even underneath love. Even underneath love. They need love. Everything you're saying is right as far as things you want them to have. But how do you get them to have it? What do you need to form? Because don't worry, all the other parents that have heard this talk, they went through this angst. It's frustrating, but I want you to really get it, to struggle with it, so they understand it's something we don't think enough about. Yes, we want to achieve that, but even how do you achieve this? How do you get them to have love, a love that you have for Christ? How do you get that into their heart? What is that called? Example is the key way to build this one thing. No. What you're saying is all true and good. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is you got to understand the deeper foundation.
Transformation.
That's close. Depending on what you mean. He said transformation. What do you mean by that?
Doing a whole U-turn and completely giving yourself to God.
Okay, you're on the right track. okay, you want a transformation, and the transformation that happens, because what you have your kids, and what do you want with your kids? You have all these core values and beliefs, and you want to give it to them, right? But you don't want it to be this external apparatus that you call the chocolate Easter Bunny Center. You want them to assimilate, right? So that it becomes theirs. What do you call that? You call that conviction. Conviction. And by conviction, I mean that interior identification with the core beliefs and values that you have. So it's not my mom and dad's faith. It's mine. Christ is my friend. The faith is important to me. I want to be honest. I want to have integrity. You have to build conviction, because otherwise it's all external. And this is the problem. This idea is not very clear in most youth ministers, and I would say most parents, we kind of forget about this. Now, you all kind of understand what this means, and you're all kind of implicitly doing it in a certain way. But you have to understand that this is the end objective. We have to achieve conviction within them. But to form conviction, what are you working with? You're working with freedom, and that's a problem, because it's a free act of the will. That's difficult. It's not just telling them and then suddenly they got it. They got to want to open. They have to open up their heart. And this is because when kids are younger, yes, you have to guard the environment and make every single choice for them. But as they start getting older, you have to allow greater and greater freedom for them to exercise that freedom, so that they build conviction. If not, it's all chocolate Easter bunny Center. You're trying to build conviction. Now, with conviction, how do you build conviction? Well, let's first start with, before that, what are the convictions the world is trying to build in the hearts of your children? Because the world is trying to build other convictions. And it's doing it over time. With every movie they watch, every television show, every commercial, the internet, Google, Facebook, everything, there's all these ideas being brought to them. And they're trying to forge other convictions. What are the convictions the world is trying to establish? Materialism. What else? External what? Yes, yeah. It's all about how you look, how skinny you are, how pretty you are, how much hair you got. I got a lot. I have to take that out. Oh yeah, by the way, we do have this videotape for anybody that's not here, so we make that available. Hopefully we'll be able to get on the website. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that or not. So yeah, external beauty is vanity is what, that's your real self-image. You have to look like a supermodel, otherwise you're a loser. Hedonism, if it feels right, do it. Worldly values, relativism. You've got all these things. All these things. The world is constantly hitting these ideas in all media. So what convictions are we supposed to do? You have to have this crystal clear. Because when you wake up in the morning as a parent, you got to remember, this is my marching orders. This is where I'm going. This is the kind of conviction I'm trying to build. And to hit on this, I'm going to be faster. Pope Benedict XVI, when he went to England, he addressed the teachers and to the students. And if you were him, he talked about conviction. What would you say is the greatest conviction that teachers have to impart to their students? Does anybody remember this one? This is an open question, but let's see if you can remember. So, what's that? Virtue? Nope, that's not what he said. The most important thing, essential teachers need to impart to students.
Trying to do what's right.
To do what is right, you're on the right path. It's a little bit bigger than that. Search for the truth, and not just the truth. Truth in the right order. We call truth in order. That is called wisdom. Teachers would say that. You know, when you go to a Catholic school, the most important thing is that they receive wisdom. And wisdom is to know how to live your life. It's not just the practical technical skills of a trade or math or grammar. Yes, all that's important, and we have to challenge our children and be the best that we can. That's obvious. But they don't know what the real point of life is. That it's really about heaven. It's about my soul. Then so what? So what if they had such great grades? We're missing the boat. We have to have wisdom. And this next quote here is the teacher conviction. I'm not going to, oh, this is so great. Listen to this. This is Pope Benedict at his best. As you know, the task of a teacher is not simply to impart information or to provide training and skills intended to deliver some economic benefit to society. Education is not and must never be considered as purely utilitarian. It is about forming the human person, equipping him or her to live life to the full. In short, it is about imparting wisdom. That's for teachers, but that, mom and dad, teachers. Are you imparting wisdom to your children? To live life to the full, to live life to the full, we have to understand it's not Christ. And there's lots more we can say, but we have to kind of keep moving along. Then student conviction. So first Holy Father talked to the teachers, and then he talked to the students. If you're talking to the students and telling the students the most important conviction for them to work on as students, what would you say? It's not wisdom. Wisdom is the teachers. They have to keep the truth in order and reforming the right. Desire for what? Knowledge. You're close. Understanding. It's a little bit more than that. What should the student, when a student leaves Catholic education, what should their aspiration be? Christ-like, that's the answer. It's, what he said, student conviction is to be a saint, to grow in holiness. When our children